In Spanish, you only use the perfect tense when referring to actions that happen in the very recent past, that day, or when asking or answering a question when there was no specific time frame to refer to. Here are some examples. Did you wash the car this morning? I washed the car this morning. You would use the perfect tense here because the action took place within the last 24 hours, that day. Have you seen the film ... I have seen it. Notice how there's no specific time frame when the action took place, hence the perfect tense. Today we're looking at Spanish verbs in the perfect tense, and we'll be looking at regular verbs. We'll be asking what does this tense mean, who is doing the verb, which part of haber do I need, what do I need to do to the infinitive of the verb, and what is the correct ending that needs to be added. Our aims are to learn how to recognise regular perfect tense verbs and to learn how to form regular perfect tense verbs as well. Remember this analogy that verbs are like flowers. They have a head and a stem. Here we see the three examples we would look at: hablar, comer, beber. Notice how the head is the last two letters, the AR, the ER and the IR, and the stem is what's left once you chop off the head, just as you would do with a flower. Here we'll look at the key ingredients. To make the perfect tense in Spanish, you need two key ingredients. Number one, an auxiliary verb, haber, which means to have. This is different to the verb tener, which means to have in terms of possession. Secondly, past participle, hablado, comido, bebido. Spoken, eaten, lived. We'll look at these in more detail in a minute. Step 1. Choose the appropriate form of the verb haber. This is the auxiliary verb. Here we see the English and the Spanish. I have, you have, etc. down the left hand side. For example, I have and then it goes on from there. Has, a, hemos, habéis, han. Step 2, you create the past participle. This is the ed form of the verb in English, by adding the appropriate ending to the stem. The great thing is that to talk about other people, it is only the form of haber that changes. And here we can see where the flower analogy comes in as well. If you have an AR verb, you create the stem by chopping off the AR and then add ADO at the end. For ER and IR verbs, you chop off the ER and the IR and then you add IDO. Notice how, therefore, the endings for ER and IR verbs are exactly the same. Remember also that AR verbs are the most common types of verbs you will see in Spanish. For example, here we see the auxiliary verb in red, the verb stem in green, and then the past participle ending in blue. He escuchado música. I have listened to music. Has tocado la guitarra. You have played the guitar. Ha jugado al fútbol. He or she has played football. Hemos comido en un restaurante. We have eaten in a restaurant. Here we see a reminder of how the Spanish perfect tense works. We have haber in the present tense on the left hand side. Then we have a space followed by the stem of the verb, which is the infinitive minus the last two letters, and then with the appropriate ending added on, whether it is an AR, ER or IR verb. And here we see some examples. He cantado, I have sung. He comido, I have eaten. He bebido, I have lived. Just copy this chart down now as a reminder so you can do the activities later on and use this as a reference for you. Now look at the following examples and conjugate verbs by following the patterns. Pause the video to complete each task before carrying on, and remember, practice will make perfect. Here we see hablar, to speak. He hablado, I have spoken. Has hablado, you have spoken. Ha hablado, he or she has spoken, but also you formal have spoken. Hemos hablado, we have spoken. Habéis hablado, you plural have spoken. Ellos, ellas, han hablado, they have spoken. So copy down this verb and then conjugate two of these other verbs which follow the same pattern as hablar. Pause the video and do that now. Here we see an ER verb, comer, to eat. He comido, I have eaten. Has comido, you have eaten. Ha comido, he or she has eaten, but also you formal have eaten. Hemos comido, we have eaten. Habéis comido, you plural have eaten. and comido, which is they have eaten, but also you, formal, in a plural context, have eaten. Copy this verb down now and then conjugate two of these other verbs following the same pattern as comer. Finally, we see an IR verb, vivir, to live. He vivido, I have lived. Has vivido, you singular have lived. Ha vivido, he or she has lived, and you formal have lived. Hemos vivido, we have lived. Habéis vivido, you plural have lived. Han vivido, they have lived, or you formal in a plural context have lived. Copy this verb down and then conjugate two of these other verbs which follow the same pattern as vivir. In this activity, look at the subjects of the following verbs, which are written in brackets, and decide on the correct form of haber. Use the verbs you've just copied down to help you, but only if you need to. Pause the video now and complete the activity and then self-mark. And remember, if you get it wrong, correct your answer so you can learn from your mistake. Por ejemplo, número 1. He pensado, I have thought. Número 2. Ha suspendido. He or she or you formal has or have hung up or failed or suspended. Número 3. Hemos organizado. We have organized. Número 4. Han tenido. They have had. Remember, tener is the verb to have in terms of possession, whereas you would use haber if you were talking about I have done something. Número 5. Has recibido. You singular have received. Número 6. Habéis pensado. You, plural, have thought. Now look up the following verbs in a dictionary. You will need to find the words ending in AR, ER or IR, which is the infinitive of the verb. That will tell you which of the two endings you need to add out of ado and ido. Use the verbs you've already conjugated to help you if you need to. Pause the video, complete the activity and then self-mark your work. And remember, if you get it wrong, correct your answer so you can learn from your mistake. Número 1. Has contestado. You have answered. Número 2. Han resistido. They have resisted. Número 3. Ha dibujado. He or she has drawn, but also you formal have drawn. Hemos escuchado. We have listened. He prometido, I have promised. Habéis bebido, you plural have drunk. Remember to correct your answer if you have made any mistakes. Now translate these following verbs. Remember to choose the correct form of haber and then conjugate the verbs in the steps you've already used. Remember, you can look up your verbs at wordreference.com. Por ejemplo, número 1. They have improved. Han mejorado. This is because if you look up improve, it will give you the verb to improve, which is mejorar. And then as you can see, we've followed those processes to create they have improved. Pause the video and complete the activity and then self-mark your work. And remember, if you get it wrong, correct your answer so you learn from your mistake. Número 2. We have punished. Hemos castigado. Número 3. She has sold. Ha vendido. Número 4. I have visited. He visitado. Número 5. You plural studied. Habéis estudiado. Número 6. You singular started. Has empezado. You could have also had has comenzado as well. Today we've looked at Spanish verbs in the perfect tense with a focus on regular verbs. We've looked at what this tense means, who is doing the verb, which part of haber we need, and what we need to do to the infinitive of the verb, and what is the correct ending that needs to be added. Our aims have been to learn how to recognise regular perfect tense verbs and to learn how to form regular perfect tense verbs. Muy bien. Adiós.